Venice is a city in northeastern Italy and the capital of the Veneto region. It is built on a group of 118 small islands that are separated by expanses of open water and by canals. Portions of the city are linked by 438 bridges. The historic center of Venice is divided into 6 districts or sestieri, which are named Cannaregio, Castello d'Orsogiro, San Marco, San Polo, and Santa Croce. The islands are in the shallow Venetian lagoon, an enclosed bay lying between the mouths of the Po and the Pa rivers. As of 2025, 249,466 people resided in Greater Venice, of whom about 51,000 live in the historical island city of Venice and the rest on the mainland. The name Venice is derived from the ancient Veneti people who inhabited the region by the 10th century BC. The city was the capital of the Republic of Venice for almost a millennium, from 810 to 1797. The sovereignty of Venice came to an end in 1797 at the hands of Napoleon. Subsequently, in 1866, the city became part of the Kingdom of Italy. Venice has many names. It's been known as City of Water, City of Bridges, the Floating City, City of Canals, La Dominate, Queen of the Adriatic, etc. The lagoon and the city within the lagoon were inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1987. In the 21st century, Venice remains a very popular tourist destination, a major cultural center, and has often been ranked one of the most beautiful cities in the world. It has been described by the Times as one of Europe's most romantic cities, and by the New York Times as undoubtedly the most beautiful city built by man. However, the city faces challenges, including over-tourism, pollution, tide peaks, and cruise ships sailing too close to buildings. Because Venice and its lagoon are under constant threat, Venice's UNESCO listing has been under constant examination. Between autumn and early spring, the city is often threatened by flood tides pushing in from the Adriatic. 600 years ago, Venetians protected themselves from land-based attacks by diverting all the major rivers flowing into the lagoon and thus preventing sediment from filling the area around the city. This created an ever deeper lagoon environment, and the lowest part of Venice, St. Mark's Basilica, is only 64 centimeters or 25 inches above sea level and one of the most flood-prone parts of the city. During the 20th century, when many artesian wells were sunk into the periphery of the lagoon to draw water for local industry, Venice began to subside. It was realized that extraction of water from the aquifer was the cause. The sinking has slowed markedly since artesian wells were banned in the 1960s. However, the city is still threatened by more frequent low-level floods that rise to a height of several centimeters over its quays regularly following certain tides. Studies indicate that the city continues sinking at a relatively slow rate of 1 to 2 millimeters per year. Therefore, the stay of alert has not been revoked. Venice's intricate canals and waterways set apart from any other city in the world. While it has plenty of walkways, it's the city's canals that intrigue visitors most of all. There are 150 canals running through Venice, and the most impressive one is the Grand Canal, which makes the city a collection of tiny islands connected by bridges and walkways. One of the first questions most people have when they visit Venice is whether or not the Venice canals are man-made. The answer is much more interesting than a straightforward yes or no, and it has to go back to when Venice was founded in the 5th century. In the 5th century, in the place where Venice now stands or floats, there was a large lagoon with several small, marshy islands separated by natural canals. As the settlement grew and they began to build better buildings, the natural canals were made wider and deeper to allow the building materials to be moved around the lagoon by boat. The canals aren't very deep, often only 10 to 15 feet deep. Over the centuries, the canals were reinforced with bricks and other materials by the lagoon's inhabitants. So while the canals were once natural, they have been changed significantly over the years. We're not sure whether that makes them natural, man-made, or somewhere in between. Many visitors have asked whether canals and waterways are clean. This obviously depends on your definition of clean. If you mean clean enough to drink, then the answer is a resounding no. Not least because the water is brackish, i.e. a mixture of salt and fresh water. Venice's canals are its streets, and countless boats travel through each day. Venice is also a modern city with modern pollution, and the chemicals from the boats and people's waste gets into the water. However, Venice is one of the world's most popular tourism hotspots, and a lot of money is invested in its tourism industry. This means that the canals and waterways are cleaned on a regular basis. Picking up litter and other waste that has found its way into the water, Venice makes a lot of money from its enchanting beauty. So the local government goes to a lot of effort to keep the canals clear of litter. So the canals certainly aren't clean, but they often look clean. This is the start and ending point of our gondola ride in Venice. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next episode.